quarterbacks, niggas get freaky like Zeke. Cowboys. We touchdown or nothing, you know we not punting. We them boys. It's 31, they out, we the American team. Fuck all the 31, they out, we the American dream. We them boys.
Call me Star Boy, but you can call me Star Lord. Picture so hard that all you see is stars, boy. Now you screaming, oh Lord. All I see is stars. Look at his wrist, look at his chest, look at his grip, look at his fist. Stars, stars, stars. And I rep it the meanest. Swear to God I'm the cleanest. Cause I got my Pumas on, custom jersey on, got them stars on. Yeah, they call me Hood Rich Superstar. Oak Cliff Jerry Jones. Cash going wrong like Jason Witten without his helmet on. Oh, I can eat up the competition like Zeke. That's 21 Savage. I put them threads on, they call me Cold Billy. Yeah, I drip that sauce. Had them haters lost. Hey.
Our quarterbacks, niggas get freaky like Zeke. Cowboys. We touchdown or nothing, you know we not punting. We them boys. It's 31, they out, we the American team. Fuck all the 31, they out, we the American dream. Our quarterbacks, niggas get freaky like Zeke. Cowboys. We touchdown or nothing, you know we not punting. We them boys. It's 31, they out, we the American team. Fuck all the 31, they out, we the American dream. Blowing white stars gotta win. Hard hitters in the game, hard hitters on the bench, hard hitters tailgating with a cowboy set. Throw a fist in the air if you trying to represent. We about to run through them Beagles, we about to run through them binds. I think we ate on some skins. I'm calling up Jerry Jones, tell him we need some new clients. I think they think that we lying, we think we not even trying. Beans is straight for the birds, that's why them Eagles ain't flying. That's when the hunger get worse, touchdown a mill to them Giants. Field goal a point from the line, take the whole team on the dime. I think they deep in the blind, yeah, we them boys, dancing like D every time. Our quarterbacks, niggas get freaky like Zeke. Cowboys. We touchdown or nothing, you know we not punting. We them boys. It's 31, they out, we the American team. Fuck all the 31, they out, we the American dream. Our quarterbacks, niggas get freaky like Zeke. Cowboys. We touchdown or nothing, you know we not punting. We them boys. It's 31, they out, we the American team. Fuck all the 31, they out, we the American dream.
Ooh. Top of the morning. And if you don't like this shit crawling up on your timeline, buddy, then just hit unfollow. That's how you do it. It's game day. Fuck your team. How about that? Let's get started. Good morning. Top of the morning to everybody. If you ain't with the content, just keep scrolling, baby. How you doing down there, Bob?
Hey, man. I'm feeling good today. It's fall weather kicking outside in Denver right now, man. I'm feeling good. I'm not going to predict nothing too crazy for this game, but I'm feeling good about it walking into it right now. That's all I can say about that. The weather's changing out here, man. It feels like football weather, so I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. You see these haters, they're already crawling up on the timeline, and that's good, baby, because we know y'all been waiting, baby. We know y'all been waiting for the day. We see them Eagles tapping in. Let's hope you beat the Lions with Dak. Otherwise, it will be complete chaos in Dallas. Like, how do you know more about how our fan base going to act than your own for the Eagles? And who is this Allen Maddox tapping in? Who the fuck is your team crawling up on my live talking all that big shit? Top of the morning to everybody else. You know, fuck your team. It's the Dallas Cowboys versus the Lions today. And we're going to talk about the keys to victory here today, y'all. So y'all tap in with your boys. It's Bob and BG on the pregame show. We got the early game here today. We're streaming live on 4 different places: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and on Twitter. So if you're joining us on those platforms, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching from. We talking keys to victory. So y'all tap in with us today, baby.
Yeah, these haters are the gasoline and the engine of life. We're just going to keep rolling with it, man. It just keeps us going. You can't have everybody loving you and saying nice shit all the time, right? You got to have somebody coming in and popping off a little bit, especially dumb people. Those are the best ones.
Yeah, either hate us or love us. I understand that. But, you know, people that like to play stupid on Facebook, how do I stop this stuff from coming on my timeline? Just hit block, hit scroll, keep rolling, hit notifications, unfollow. You ain't got to come up on here and tell us you're dumb without saying you're dumb. You know what I mean? I'm just going to go off this morning. What up, Angel? How you doing, baby? Where are my green badges at? I ain't had my medication and stimulation yet this morning, in case you haven't figured it out. But we got a Facebook user always tapping in with us, Bob.
Nice. Welcome back, Facebook user, for the 19,000th time. We appreciate you coming through.
What up, Sam? Congratulations, baby. Did you know you won a deck of cards? And speaking of which, y'all let me get off the live yesterday. I didn't even get a chance to give the quest for the 6-pack out yesterday that I unveiled. So I've got that here. Let's just go do that before I forget today, because Sam was a winner yesterday. Congratulations, Sam. On Supporter Saturday. Congratulations, Sam. We got your deck of cards here in case you didn't tune in, baby. DM me your address. We gave away some prizes yesterday for Supporter Saturday. So if you're just tapping in and you're not a hater like these other guys that want to crawl up on here and play stupid like how did it get on your timeline, if you're a Cowboy fan, do me a favor. Hit that green badge, baby. I got a new quest for the 6-pack. Oh, this one's big. Now, I never gave anything like this away before, y'all. So I'm going to tell you, the $4.99 a month that you're going to get in here after about 7 months, this will be a good investment for you. So hit that green badge. We got one new supporter. I need 5 more. Congratulations to Diego Ruiz, who signed up yesterday. Well, we're going to give away this quest for the 6-pack here really quick. It's wheels in air. It's a custom or NFL official luggage tag. So when you go through TSA at the airport, all my boots on ground fans that's out there, they're going to know you a Cowboy fan off the rip, baby.
Yeah, I don't recommend, and this is just me using my common sense, I don't recommend putting that on your baggage if you're flying into Philly. However, I think every other state you'd be fine with. They probably wouldn't mess with it. You dirty motherfuckers out there, man.
My man,
Sam Harris, man.
I'm whooping their asses some spades now. Them going to be perfect, baby.
Hey, Sam, you know what's funny is, man, as soon as he threw those up there, that's the first thing I said. I go, man, when he's not ripping lips, he's going to be out there fucking making some money in spades. I just didn't have a chance to say it, so I'm glad you did. Good shit.
All right, so here we are. We got all the names up on the wheel. You have a 1 in 6 chance. So when I say quest for the 6, when we get 6 names on here, that's how we do it. Increments of 6. We're at 127. Help me get to my goal of 150. After we get to 150, we're not talking about supporters no more. Well, in terms of campaigning for new ones anyway. But you got a 1 in 6 chance. So congratulations to Mickey, Sean J, Charlie Ramos, and Robert. Let's see who's going to win this tag, baby.
Oh,
man, it just barely got it. Huh?
Congratulations, right past the line.
Mickey White, congratulations. Brand new supporter. Haven't been here that long, I'll tell you that. So what's that tell you? You don't need to be a supporter here that long in order to win. So congratulations to Mickey. Make sure you DM me your address so I can mail you that. I'll have all the packages in the mail tomorrow. If you won something this weekend, if I owed you something, I've got them all boxed up over there. So let's get into this. Keys to victory today, baby.
Bring it.
Keys to victory today, Bob.
I am going to take a page out of our friend West Coast's repertoire and just say, run the damn ball. This is the reason why I'm saying this. First of all, if y'all remember way back in week 1, when we lost that stupid game to Tampa, we looked horrible. Dak did not look good. The team did not look great. Fast forward to this point in time right now, what we don't want is a repeat of that, because the reason why I think Dak didn't look great in that game is he didn't have a lot of games under his belt in preseason. He didn't have a lot of live reps. He's not going to have a lot of live reps. He didn't have any in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So today is one of those games I think Kellen Moore might want a game plan to run it down their throat, because God knows they're going to do the same thing to us. So why not have the same game plan except beat them, because our defense is 50 times better than theirs. So the key today is running the damn ball, defensive pressure, because if those two things are balanced for any team, normally you'll get a pretty decent win. But with our team in particular, because our defense is probably the top in the league, it almost solidifies and guarantees a win if we can get that going.
I hear you. I think that's been our Achilles heel. Have we been able to stop the run? No. But when we come up against the Detroit Lions, this is where the haters are getting ready to move the goalposts. I was just telling my man Bob in the back of the studio before we got live here that, if we don't blow these Lions out, there's going to be a lot of hate. Unlike, when the Eagles only beat the Lions by 3, there wasn't that much hate, saying, well, y'all barely beat them. But because the Lions are, if you look at some of these stats, they're atrocious. They're 32nd at opponents' points per game. They're allowing teams to score 34 points on them. If we score anything less than 30 points today, they're going to talk about us, y'all. So Dak is going to have to get in there. We're going to have to slap somebody in the mouth early. And if that means breaking off a chunk run with Tony Pollard or Ezekiel Elliott, for Frank's sakes, their defense is not that great.
But they are is that them putting up 151.4 yards a game rushing?
Exactly. So we have to stop the run. If we're going to do anything against Detroit, this defense, we're going to have to see what kind of adjustments does Dan Quinn do, because I don't know, in that Eagles game, it looked like they were running right past LVE every play.
Yeah, LVE has a bad. He's got a tendency to look lost in a lot of games, man. And he seems to kind of come through at the end of the game when he has figured out the teams, or either that, or we just sort of in garbage time. I'm not convinced he's a great linebacker yet, but you're right. He's one of those guys in the middle that when Jalen was with him, that was a different story. They were sort of symbiotic in a way where we were able to stop the run at that second level because of them. But it doesn't seem to be that way anymore. And that's, I think, the reason why most of us are screaming for at least to try and find a way to trade for a linebacker or somebody else to help shore up that middle, because that's definitely our Achilles heel.
Exactly. Scotty's tapping in and says, you're right. We need to score big to shut the haters up. You know, if we don't beat Detroit, that's obviously problem number one. If we don't score probably 30-plus points, that's going to be issue number two. Because they're not going to give us any respect, even if we blow them out. They're going to say, well, that's what you were supposed to do to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, that's when you got to, as a Cowboys fan, that's when you've got to figure out a way, and it's a good tactic to have in life, is to try and figure out a way to shut that all up. Because you're going to get that no matter what. Find a way to shut that all up in your head without, at least find a way for not to let that affect you. But you're right. That's 100% the truth. They're going to find a way because like I said before, we've got the third easiest remaining schedule coming up. Philly's got the fourth. I think Tampa Bay's probably got the first. I don't know. I forgot who was in the first. We got some easy games coming. So no matter what, even if we go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl this year, at the end of that game, everybody's going to look back and say, well, look at y'all's schedule, man. Like everybody else doesn't have a schedule. Like, we just get handed the easy shit. What happens is if you're not a great team, you get easier schedules. That's the way it was.
But you know who's right above us with the next easiest schedule in the league?
Who's that?
The Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody wants to talk about that, though.
Yeah. That again, that's I guess. Yeah, they don't have that, I guess. But that also probably comes with losing for 50 consecutive years. Do you know what I'm saying? So they don't have to deal with that. We won so much that people hate us because of that. You know, if they just hate Philly because they hate Philly. But for the most part, we're hated because we win all the time, and that is the expectation of us and our fans. It's not as realistic as it could be. But yeah, it's one of those things where if we don't come out and blow these folks out, the fan base is going to feel like shit about that. Forget about how everybody's going to talk about this. That's just fueling their motivation in their life. For us, we've got to see this. We got to see this as a big blowout because they're not a great team. They're inept in a lot of different ways.
I just want to know, what are the Cooper Rush lovers, you know, that formerly the Dak haters, the artists known as the Dak haters. I wonder what the Cooper Rush lovers are going to have to say today in defense of their quarterback that they chose and said that was better than Dak Prescott after he comes out today and just annihilates the Detroit Lions. I'm just curious. If you're a Cooper Rush lover, are you going to show your head after the game and show us you're still a Cooper Rush lover? Or are you going to go back to saying we them boys and cheering on the Dallas Cowboys? That's what I want to know today. Are you out there, Cooper Rush lovers?
Tasha, what's good? What's good? Good to see you. Rizzo's in the house too. Yeah, that's a good point too, because you've got to think about this. Let's say the exact same statistics for Dak Prescott today are the ones that he had at Tampa. Let's just say he comes out of that game and we come out with a win because maybe we run the ball well. But if he has a horrible game today, that's going to be a problem in the media. It might not be a problem to us because we're going to stick with Dak until he gets right. I don't feel like this dude's going to get benched simply because he's not doing well.
Oh, if you think they talked about Dak's passing, they're going to talk about it today. Can you imagine how many cameras are going to be on that right thumb of his?
Yeah, and hands are going to be up. You're going to see defensive tackles, defensive linemen throwing their hands up too, trying to get that shit to happen again, re-aggravate that injury. It's the same shit. It's been like that for decades in this game. It's a little bit softer now, but yeah, they're going to go after it. We're going to see it. It's going to be a media-driven thing. You're going to hear it the first, the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, thumb. And we're going to just have to deal with that. But the game itself needs to be run-based with Dak passing off of the run to ease him back into the system that he knows so well. It's just too hard to say, come back in and throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'd love to see it, though.
Yeah, you got it right, Ruben. Those Cooper Rush boys are undercover Romo boys. Yeah, they hated on Dak Prescott when Romo got hurt, and that's kind of how the evolution of the Dak hater began. They started hating once Tony got hurt. And then, it's the Dak and, it's the Zeke and the Pollard lovers. We've gone through those two. They bounced around, but, I'm just curious. Cooper Rush comes out, or, Dak Prescott comes out here, has a great game. What are folks going to have to say about Cooper Rush? Because I know them Cooper Rush lovers are out there. They were pulling for our guy big time. But Sarah sums it up very nicely. Shout out to Sarah. She's currently on the road out there to her watch party at Star Status, Dayton, out there in Ohio. She says they both wear the star, and I love them both. I know Cooper Rush is right out there where your neck of the woods, right, Sarah, up there in Michigan. Domingo says Cooper Rush is just what he is, a backup, and we appreciate the job he did. It's time to get a range back to the general. Dak. Yeah. But if you listen to them Dak haters, they're going to tell you, well, we only getting 18 points a game. We only getting 118 rushing yards a game. We only getting 192 passing yards a game. I mean, if Dak comes in here and doubles all of that, they're still going to find a way to hate on our guy. That's what I can't stand about my own damn fan base.
Yeah. We got to filter that too, man. I suppose there's levels to this shit. I know a lot of us are fans. Some of us are kind of fans. Some of us are us, where it's all around us at all times of our life. It's in the clothing, the color of the clothing that we choose to wear every day. And some people are just casual about it. But I think that it's hard for us to meet in the middle of that because it's two totally different mindsets about this fan base. But it's also a huge fan base. It makes it real hard to filter out those people. And we can only hope what we're doing right now is trying to impart some knowledge that we've gained over 40 plus years of being fans and hope they can come along with us. But there's a lot of unrealistic shit. There's a reason why Cooper Rush is paid $172,000 a year, whatever the hell he's getting. And Dak is not. He's getting 50 times that. There's a big freaking reason. He ain't getting paid that much.
His old lady he don't even want his old lady buying no airplane ticket, and she showed up out there. So, I mean, he ain't getting paid that much, but we don't want to beat up on Cooper Rush. I just want to go after those Cooper Rush lovers because I seen y'all take off your Dak hate hat and put on your Cooper Rush lover hat, and now I see you going back to Party City getting your I hate Dak Prescott costume ready for Halloween this month. It's just flat out just ridiculous. But we've got to come out and we've got to hit these folks in the mouth early. I mean, Dak is going to have to get this offense going early, and if that means running it down their throat, then they're going to have to run it down their throat. We see this defense is not capable of really stopping the run as much as the other teams that we face. But with that being said, it is Dallas Cowboys at home, and we can't forget the referees are the second opponent in the game, especially like this, because I've heard some Cowboy fans saying this game, quite out frankly, is a trap game for Dak Prescott's return.
I mean, I don't know if that's I don't know if it's a trap situation. A trap usually means we're doing so well with one particular group of guys, and we go into a team that's not so good, and we take them for granted. We got a different group of people running this game this time around. Dak is a big change from what we've had for the last 4 weeks, so it's different. That's just some bullshit, man. And at least in my opinion.
Well, the leadership is going to have these guys ready today because this is the team, without a doubt, that the Dallas Cowboys should absolutely steamroll, according to the numbers. However, we've seen stranger things when it comes to our team, especially playing at home. And that's why I'm saying again, for the second week in a row, my keys to victory is simply what it was last week. We got to stop the run, and we're going to have to play the referees like the second opponent. Last game, we had, 10 penalties, 11 penalties for 70-some yards. There were some critical penalties that we caught in that game that changed momentum and, quite frankly, could have been the difference, along with those 3 interceptions. But we're going to have to play the referees, the Zebras, like a second opponent. We're going to have to be more disciplined. We can't get double digits in penalties, especially double digits in yards. You can't expect to win, when you're not being 100% sound when it comes to execution. We got to have that identity out there, baby. You know what?
And that Micah Parsons thing, which I can't really hate. Who was it? The tight end for calling for that penalty. He was saying something to him, and they finally threw that shit. But I don't know, man. That's something where Micah. That's how that youth comes in right there. He's got to know. Well, you can flex all you want, get angry. You just made that hit, but just keep quiet.
No, you can't get back to the huddle. Diggs and just take your helmet off and slam it like a damn child in the end zone. Yeah. I mean, that's like what my 5-year-old would do, was take his helmet off and slam it around and be mad.
Yeah.
You can't do that. I don't care how competitive you are. You got to put your emotions. That's that team identity, that discipline that Mike McCarthy's been talking about. You're right, dog. Even Micah showing that little bit of emotion when, them referees smell blood in the water, as we heard Micah Parsons talking about Shark Week this game, right?
Yeah.
The rest smell blood in the water, baby. That's it, man. 9 times out of 10, Dallas is not getting a call.
And we were in Philly, and it was, I forgot what, I think it was Goddard, actually. He was calling for the referee, like, hey, did you hear what that guy just said to me, dude? Like, but I honestly, and I'm recalling that one in particular, because I feel like that was a complete momentum killer. That was a third down that happened. It was a stop that we needed, and that could have turned into something. Momentum is a huge thing in this game. People forget about it. It's that invisible enemy that we don't really talk about. But that happened at a real bad time. And then the rest of the shit happened at bad times too. But yeah, when we kill ourselves, we're almost guaranteed to lose a game if we have 10 penalties. I mean, that just seems to be a Cowboys thing, where if we have 10 penalties, that means we lost that game, because we can't come back from that shit.
Even with those penalties, I think with those 3 picks, it still could have been, and I hate to talk about old shit against Philly, but, we let that division game get away from us. But, this next game against the Lions and then the Bears, and then we head into the bye week, it's going to be a perfect time. We reel these 2 wins off for Dak and everybody to nurse their injuries and get healthy to come back in the second half. Because quite frankly, I think the NFC East and the Eagles are peaking too early. And if we can get off to a win against Detroit and Chicago, heading into the bye at 6-2? Is that what it would be?
Yeah, and it's good. It's a good time to have that bubble pop a little bit on your ass, especially if you're undefeated. Like Philly, it's one of those things you want to get that loss before like week 8, because that stretch of time in November that we're talking about, December, that's the money time right there. So you want to be able to be climbing at that time, and I feel like we're on pace to make that happen. We're going to hopefully hit another peak upward again, and maybe Philly gets hit by somebody and goes downward and trends downward a little bit. But that's really the team.
It's going to happen, bro. I mean,
yeah.
I don't foresee them going like no setting. I mean, this league is a tough league. For them to already be 6-0 says a lot.
Yeah,
it really does. And in this league, anybody can get it any given Sunday. I mean, we've seen the Steelers knock off the Bucks. I mean, we've seen the Giants knock off Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, you've seen the Dallas Cowboys with a backup beat both teams that went to the Super Bowl.
Ain't that some shit? And it's all about preparation, meeting, motivation, and the things that you want to do. And I think Cooper Rush being in for the last few weeks was a little bit more of a push. It's another one of those silent things that you can't really talk about. There's no metric for it. But those guys in the locker room were like, fuck, we don't have Dak anymore, man. Now we got to run better routes. Now we got to hold blocks tighter. Now we got to do much more to help this guy so we don't look like assholes on TV from here on out. So what we don't want is everybody saying, oh, Dak is back. We're good now. Let's chill out and get back. And maybe I don't hit that route so hard. No, they still got to keep that hunger. That's what I worry about. Is them keeping that hunger, knowing that this leader is back. But if he goes and throws for 3 touchdowns and 300 fucking yards today, you better believe that that's a fire that will be lit for us, and that'll help us out in the next couple of weeks.
Great segue. If we can get that much offense, especially on the passing end, especially from Dak Prescott, it's going to be curious to see how Kellen Moore and this play calling is going to resemble like we had Cooper Rush in the driver's seat. Is it going to look the same? Is it going to look different? But my question for you is, Bob, which player benefits the most on the offensive side of the ball with Dak's return?
Oh, man. Here's a weird thing. So the name I'm going to say right off the bat is Tony Pollard. That's going to sound weird, but I think Tony Pollard has more rushing yards today than Zeke does. However, I want to say one of the wide receivers that we've got going, but that's not the truth. It's Cooper Rush that's had the rapport with those guys. Noah Brown showed the hell out the last few weeks because Cooper's been the dude that throws to him for the last couple camps. It's the familiarity, the knowing of where this guy might be, the tendencies of those things. That's what's scaring me about the Prescott situation, because he didn't have that, and we saw that in game 1. I would like to think that the beneficiaries of Dak being back would be the wide receivers, but I just don't think so. I think him getting pressure on him and them focusing on Dak is going to make the run game better for us, and thus Tony Pollard will benefit from it.
I like the pick. Love it, bro. Love it. And I'm right on target with you, too, when you talk about wide receivers. I'm just going to be quite honest with you, man. I got CeeDee Lamb in my fantasy football lineup today, and I need Dak to throw him about 3 touchdowns. So if anybody could benefit today, I need wide receiver 1, the 88 club, CeeDee Lamb, to get in there and get his catches You know, because we were supposed to be. I mean, this guy, I think he's only got 2 touchdowns all season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I see, what do we got? Soto. See, Ruben Soto mentioned Schultz, and I think that's I don't know if anybody was up to date with the guys we pulled up yesterday. We pulled up a running back from the practice squad. We pulled up a tight end from our practice squad yesterday. I think Schultz is actually going to see a bit of a decrease, if I'm being honest. I don't see anything from the guy since his injury. He's been gone basically, and he's been in these games. So I think them calling up these other players, including Malik, I think at the running back, is really showing that we're probably going to commit to a run game pretty hardcore today. And that extra tight end means that they're probably going to be in there in single back situations blocking for us. So Schultz, I don't know, man. This is a bad time for him to deal with what he's dealing with on a franchise tag year, coming off of an injury and having 0 production for 2 games in a row is a bad look for him. So he might come back to us cheaper and do better. I don't know. But
yeah, I wanted to see if he was active or inactive today. I was trying to look up some of this. It looks like here, according to Blogging the Boys, and this was just put out today, the inactives for the Cowboys are going to be defensive tackle Neville Gallimore is inactive for today's game. Joining him also is Jabril Cox. And then initially Marquise Bell, Devin Harper, and Deshaun Wright and Will Greer. Those are the inactives for today. So it looks like Dalton Schultz is there. Now, I'm going to tell you, I had Dalton Schultz in my lineup, but I'm scared. I got Kittles also when it comes to fantasy football.
Oh, shit.
But I don't know. It could be Schultz because we know Schultz is Dak. That's his security blanket, kind of like Jason Witten was for Tony Romo. So I just hope one of them, somebody going to have to benefit today. But I think with the return of Dak Prescott, that definitely elevates the spirits of the team in the locker room. I think that raises the energy of the team. I think they're glad that QB1 is back. Now they can really see what we're going to be made of over these next couple of games. Granted, it's just the Lions and the Bears, but a great game for Dak to come back, test out how much zip, how much pass he got on there. Can we get this offense running? I'm just curious, man. Is this offense going to look the same like it has been? And we're going to see, you know, Kellen Moore try to go to, I'm going to run it just like I did with Rush. And maybe it don't work, and then to see what happens there. So I'm curious what's going to happen with Kellen Moore and play calling, and how fast are we going to jump on them in the first quarter? That's going to be really key for me.
I tell you what, man, and you're damn right. I think on top of that, we all know Dak has had a bit of I don't want to say a mobility issue, but you know, let's say the first 4 years that guy was in the league, he was absolutely trucking people, man. Like I was waiting for people to try and tackle Dak Prescott because he would just truck them with those big ass legs and make those 8-9 yards. It doesn't seem to happen like that anymore. And I think it's because not only the big injury, but the last ankle situation, just whatever he had going on the calf, those things are scaring him from being mobile. And it may be coupled with the fact that there's less design plays to have him actually make that decision. But I was talking to Eric B earlier. Eric B thinks RPO might be a real successful thing to smash up on the Lions today, and give him a chance to not only get his head back, but his legs back in the game and his vision back, because that's what we need. Dak that can run for 7 yards is terrifying. Forget a 15-yard run. Dak picking up 17 or 7 yards every time he ran, that was huge for us, and I'd love to see that come back. Definitely. And Bobby Paget, I think he's reminding me here the other day, I was listening to Sirius XM. I don't know if anybody knows this. It's a pretty neat stat, but we're talking about special teams, and they were talking special teams on Sirius XM, and they were saying that there has never been a punt return for a touchdown in a Super Bowl. And so with that being said, I'm hoping that maybe we can see some turpentine today, maybe on a kickoff or a punt return. We've seen him get close last game, but with the signing of, this is what we signed this guy for, was to return kicks and punts on special teams. We seen Money Mayher. He's been getting my money in fantasy football. He's been keeping me competitive. Thank you. Special teams have been doing it, but hopefully we can see something amazing from Turpin, like some turpentine today. That would be awesome. Yeah, I think maybe gone are the days of the sort of Dante Halls and Dion's and these guys returning kicks and punts off. Like, the fact that they moved around the positioning and there's no walls that you can build really anymore on kick and punts and stuff like that. As you said that too, I said to myself, damn, I've seen kick return for touchdown, but you said punt return. So that makes a lot more sense. Special teams, I think Turpin has at the very least gotten us a few more yards than we normally would have, putting maybe a CD back there.
But he's a threat, though. He's a threat. Yeah. And sometimes you see they overkick, they don't kick to him, and that's a compliment to the guy. But, you know, those ones that he can get his hands on, you see how quick he takes off. So hopefully we get some big explosive plays. You need to see some explosive plays today from the Cowboys too as well. We've seen the Tony Pollard one last week with the run. We've seen Zeke get out there and run, look like the Zeke of old. I mean, he's in the league 7 years, and he's still making them cutbacks, taking it to the house. I mean, what more can you ask? You can't have a better back. I don't think there is another better backfield in the league. Now, granted, the numbers don't show it, but between both talents, with the bruiser and the burst, between Pollard and Zeke, I think we go off on them today. I think we really see a heavy dose of the run game, which is going to cause some argument about Dak Prescott not throwing it. But, hey, we run the clock, we run the ball, control the clock, run it down their throat, let the defense do the job. I mean, we got to put up about a 40 burger today on Detroit for everybody to just say, okay, all right, Dallas is back. We're going to see what happens against them Chicago Bears week 8.
Yeah, and I wasn't 100% feeling very confident that we would beat the Eagles. As much as I like to say that I probably was, I certainly wasn't. In my heart of hearts, I said to myself, having our backup lead this team against a team that's smoking as fast as they are right now, that was tough. But I think today, like you said, today should be a real good indicator of how we truly are as a team. You don't really have many chances like this to play a team that's not doing very well in a situation where you want your quarterback to come back and do better and start doing well with your team. This is sort of the perfect setup. He's got 2 teams in the next couple of weeks, today and next week, in Chicago and Detroit, that are just not good teams. And it's really, really good for him to come back and get some confidence push, chill out, get a little more rest on that bye week, and come back for that second half of the season. So yeah, I really hope it's a smack up today. If it isn't, it just means that we played another strong NFL team, and I'm not discounting these Lions in any way.
I mean, yeah, anybody can get it any given Sunday, but with all things considered, Dallas cannot afford a day like today to come out beat and not show our team identity. We got to have that grit. We got to definitely have discipline, because we already said that the officials are the second opponent. So the discipline will cancel out. Then we know there are going to be some bullshit calls. And we even got some calls in that Eagles game too that I was not going to complain about, that went our way. So I'm not going to say that I'm totally biased that the refs are always against the Cowboys, but Mike McCarthy knew this in training camp. That's why they brought out referees to simulate in training camp. But where is the discipline? Like, you're doing those things, so we got to see it, execute the discipline on the field, minimize the penalties, run the ball, and we've got to run it up on these Detroit Lions, because anything else, like Charles Barkley would say, would be uncivilized.
Uncivilized. That's old school, man. You're dropping some old school gems for these folks.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's the youth, the new sort of football teams that we're seeing. I don't know that you can have a guy like a Jimmy Johnson that'll make you run laps if you have asthma. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that it's like, I think all coaches may be aggressive in some way, shape, or form, but like to say that, you know, oh, we're going to maybe bench this guy next week because he screwed up on this game. That doesn't happen anymore. These people are paid too much money, man. And so I think maybe that hard-nosed attitude we're looking for from McCarthy, it doesn't exist in the NFL anymore. And if it does, it doesn't probably get you where it used to get you. But it does come down to him and the culture he breeds, all of these stupid penalties. And what are the repercussions for screwing up on the team? It doesn't seem to be a lot. So yeah, it's in his lap as much as it's in anybody else's lap in this organization right now. So hopefully everything sort of comes back together in a very glueful way. And we see them performing for McCarthy as we see the defense perform for Quinn.
And that's why we play the game, baby. We got about 40 minutes before tip-off. It's Bob and BG. It's the pregame show, baby. We back in the mix. Be on the lookout, too, as well. We're going to have start square groupers back up here as we get that ready. You got NFC East Matters here every Wednesday. We've moved the time to 10 a.m. That's going to be best for my schedule now to make sure we can be on time every day. So look forward to seeing the show here every Wednesday, 10 a.m. on the West Coast, the best coast. And we're going to be talking about all 4 teams, NFC East Matters. We're going to recap week 7, see how the boys did against the Lions. We know that the Eagles are on a bye. And I think the Giants have – who do the Giants have again? Anyway, yeah, the Giants got somebody. I got to take a look at that. I can't remember who the Giants have. They got somebody, but they're doing well over there too. Matter of fact, they're above us. So the NFC is back to beasting. So we're going to cover that on Wednesday, but definitely we want to get square groupers back up and running. So we appreciate everybody tuning in here with us today. Make sure, if you haven't already, set your fantasy football lineups. You got about 40 minutes left. It looks like Dalton Schultz is playing today. He's not on the inactive list. All of the star players for the Cowboys on offense are playing today. So get your lineups adjusted, y'all. It's fantasy football here. It's week 7. And in a very important game with Dak Prescott returning after his injury, we're going to see what are these Cowboys made of when it comes to the Motor City. Jags. There we go, Cedric. Appreciate that. Giants.
Nice.
Forgot the Jags. Well, good deal. I think we covered the keys to victory, baby. I think we both agree we got to stop the run.
Yeah, my crazy prediction is that Tony Pollard outrushes Zeke today, but they both make us break 160 yards rushing, I think.
I think the defense scores twice today. I got really excited about playing Arizona Cardinals defense on Thursday Night Football. They picked off the Red Rider twice. Did y'all see how he turned around? Look, that was a priceless pick when he turned around and got in that dude Superman. Did y'all see that? That was crazy.
Yeah, man.
When I see it, I said, that's going to be a meme as soon as I seen it, right?
You don't get those a lot, man.
But yeah, I hope this Dallas Cowboys defense, Micah Parsons has got 6 sacks for the year. The leader right now is Alex Highsmith out of the Steelers at 6.5. You know, these defenses got to eat today. And quite frankly, with this Detroit Lions offense, and as much as they give up as being as bad as they are, offensively in the league, I think this defense is going to have to eat them up. And it starts with Micah Parsons. So we appreciate y'all joining us. You got any shout outs before we get out of here today, Bob?
No shout outs. I'm about to harvest my bubble gum and my Bubba's Widow next week. So if y'all are watching my channel, wait for that to drop sometime next week after I get that started. But no, man, it's all about football right now. I've had some visitors at the house, but we're good for the rest of the football season, I think. Just going to focus up. We're going to grind. We're going to get some square groupers going. So let's just get this win today, man, and we'll talk about it after.
Definitely. We'll tune in after the show because, win, lose, or tie, Bob and BG, we finna go live. So make sure y'all tune in after the game for the after game report, and make sure you turn on your notifications. I'm going to tap in with the halftime report. It's a nationally televised game today. So if you don't have it, check out the Dofu Sports app. That's DOFU. Dofu Sports app. If you're in a location where the game is not streaming, you can download that on iOS. You can download that on Android. You can check it out. Dofu Sports app. If not, it's a nationally televised game. We'll see y'all on the half game tap in and the post game after game report. We'll see y'all then.